ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः। ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय ॐ। So today is an auspicious day for our study of our Satsanga of Ramayana, because we will be seeing from today onwards. It might take two classes, two sessions, or maybe more than that, but two at least for sure. The birth of Sri Rama, which is going to happen in this Sarga, the 18th Sarga. So 18th Sarga, generally, had it been in Puranas, we could have said, for example, in Bhagavatam, in Gopika Geetam, we have 18 verses. So people say 18 verses because this is the Sara of all Upanishads. What Gopikas are singing in that Gopika Geetam is the essence of all Upanishads. Therefore, essence of all Puranas. So there are 18 Puranas. So all the essence of all those 18 Puranas are being sung. Therefore, 18 verses. So such a kind of interpretation is difficult to give for Ramayana, because Valmiki is the Adi Kavi and Ramayana is the first text that he has written. Before that, there was no other humanly written text available. So why 18? You can say 18 Puranas which have come later. The essence of all those 18 Puranas are here. I thought I will just say that. Otherwise, 18 is even otherwise considered an auspicious number in Hinduism. So 18th Sarga is where Sri Rama is also going to be born. So let us see. Athashtadasha Sargaha निवृत्ते तु क्रतौ तस्मिन् हयमेधे महात्मनः प्रतिगृह्यामरा भागान् प्रतिजग्मुर् यथागतम्. So where are we in the story? So Ashwamedha Yaga is over, Putrakameshti Yaga is over, and thereafter, while the Putrakameshti Yaga was going on, Devatas assembled there in the Yajnashala, unknown to people otherwise. So they were assembling and they were discussing that this Ravana has to be put an end to. And then at the same time, Brahmaji also says yes, he agrees with their idea, and then Vishnu also comes there, and they request Vishnu that take birth as you should take birth as Dasharatha's son and put an end to this Ravana, who's Lokakantaka, who's causing a lot of problems for everyone. So Vishnu also agrees, and then he 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 goes as the Yajna Purusha and gives the payasam, and the meanwhile Devatas also are instructed by Brahmaji to take birth as Vanaras. So that also has happened. So that is the Avantara story. So that's the Prasangika story. It's not the main story. So that story was going on separately. Now Valmiki is coming back to the main story. The main story being that now that even Putrakameshti Yaga is over, all the what should I say? All the things which Dasharatha wanted to do, those things are over. And then now Valmiki is concluding all that. If you remember, so from Ayodhya they went to the northern banks of Sarayu for all these yajna and things like that. So they were there in the northern banks. Now everybody has to come back to Ayodhya. That is what Valmiki is going to describe. So nivritte tu kratau tasmin hayamedhe mahatmanaha. So mahatmanaha hayamedhe nivrittau. Mahatmanaha means Dasharathasya hayamedhe kratau nivritte tu. So that Hayamedha Yaga having been completed, Hayamedha Yaga, here you should take that Hayamedha includes Putrakameshti also. See, the original plan was to do Hayamedha Yaga, Ashwamedha Yaga. Therefore, they all went on the northern banks. After that was completed, they thought, let's do Putrakameshti Yaga also. So the original idea being the reason why they went on to the northern banks was Ashwamedha Yaga. So now that that has been completed, so now what happened? Pratigrihyamara bhagan pratijagmur yathagatam. So remember, even these devatas actually came to the Yajnashala to take their Yajna Bhaga, the offering of the Yajna. So, and in the meanwhile, all this discussion was happening. So now that it is completed, these devatas also accepted their offerings, and they also pratigrihya means amaraha pratigrihya. Those amaras devatas having accepted Yajna Bhagan, having accepted that offerings of the Yajna, Pratijagmur Yathagatam. So they went back as they came. That means they went where they came from. They all went back to Swarga. Now Samapta Diksha Niyamaha. समाप्त दीक्षा नियमः पत्नीगण समन्वितः प्रविवेश पुरीं राजा सभृत्य बलवाहनः. So समाप्त दीक्षा नियमः, remember some sargas back, so we said that Dasharatha and his wives also took up this Diksha. Now, what is a Diksha? As long as Yajna is going to be completed, some particular Nishtha they are supposed to have. So, that is the Diksha they took over. Now that the Yaga is over, now the Diksha Viramana, they say the Diksha is getting completed. So, Samapta Diksha Niyamaha. So, this Dasharatha now, who is this? Samapta Diksha Niyamaha is an adjective. It's an adjective to Dasharatha. So, what kind of Dasharatha he is? He is Dasharatha whose Diksha Niyamas have now been completed. Therefore, Patni Gana Samanvitaha. So, he's along with his wives, all of their Diksha is completed. So, along Patni Gana Samanvitaha, this Dasharatha along with his wives, Pravivesha Purim Raja. So, Sabhritya Balavahanaha. So, along with his, his retinue. So, his what should I say, his ministers, his soldiers, his people who are serving him, all of them, along with all of them and his wives. So, Raja Purim Pravivesha. So Raja entered into Ayodhya Puri. That's the literal meaning, but Tilakakara is telling you should take that he turned towards. So that means he began to go towards Ayodhya, because later again Valmiki will say Punaha Pravivesha, Dasharatha entered once again, he will say like that, Valmiki. So here you should take Pravivesha means he turned towards that, he turned towards going back to his kingdom. So you can take that meaning, or you can take he went to Ayodhya and there Punaha Pravivesha you can take. In that context, when it comes, I will tell you. So Tilakakara says Pravivesha here means he turned towards his city. So Abhimukhi Kritya, he turned towards Ayodhya city. And then Yatharham Pujitastena Ragnya cha Prithivishwaraha Mudita Prayayur Deshan Pranamya Munipungavam. So if you remember, Dasharatha has honored all the Brahmanas who have participated, all the Prajas, the onlookers and people like that who have come to witness the yaga, all of them he has taken care of. Food and clothes and shelter and all those things they took care of. Now these kings also came, if you remember, from various kingdoms these kings came. Those kings are now going back. So while going back, so Dasharatha is honoring them also and sending. So Yatharham Pujitaha, these rajas, Prithivishwaraha, so the lords of, so Prithivishwara means kings, that's the meaning. So they have some, each one is a Samanta Raja, so he has lordship over a particular piece of earth, so they are Prithivishwaraha. So those rajas, Yatharham Pujitaha, they have been honored by Dasharatha according to whatever is their rank. So Yatharham Pujitaha, Tena Ragnya Pujitaha, by that king they were honored. And then what happened? Muditaha, so they were happy because they are worshipped by Dasharatha. Worship means, so worshipped we say, so everybody is Pujarha only. Worshipped means, so he gave them that honor, what is required to be given to Athitis and kings of their stature, that honor he gave them. So Prayayuhu Pranamya, so Deshan Prayayuhu, so Munipungavam Pranamya, so Munipungavam, so it's in the singular, but you should take Vasishtha and Rishishringa and other Munis there also. So Jati Ekavachanam, for all those Munipungavas, singular is being used. So for the collection of Munipungavas, he is using singular. So the collection of Munis there, he is using Munipungava. To all those Munipungavas, these great Maharshis, these people having done Pranama, Pranamya, Deshan, Prayayuhu. So they went back to their own Deshas. So these rajas, they came with their own retinue. So Dasharatha is honoring those soldiers also. Shrimatam Gachatam Tesham Swagrihani Purat Tataha Balani Ragnyam Shubhrani Prahristani Chakashire. So the Valmiki is telling those retinues of those kings, those they came with their soldiers and things like that. That retinue was Shubhrani Chakashire. So they are shining in white clothes. So Shubhra means white and clean. So here it means white clothes. Shubhrani Chakashire, they are shining. Chakashire means they were shining. The Shubhrani Chakashire, why are they shining with white clothes? Because Shrimatam Gachatam Tesha Swagrihani Puratataha Balani Ragnyam. Ragnyam Balani means the Bala, the retinue, the soldiers of those kings who came, their retinue. So Shrimatam Gachatam Tesham. So Tesham Ragnyam, of those kings. Shrimatam. So Shrimatam means of those so very kind, what should I say, very respectable kings. So their retinue Gachatam. So while they were going away, Swagrihani Gachatam, while they were going back to their places, so Prahristani Chakashire, they were shining forth with white clothes. So why? Because Dasharatha gave them also. That's the meaning. That's not exactly there, but Tikakaras are telling they are shining with white clothes because they have also been honored by Dasharatha. So Gateshu Prithivisheshu Raja Dasharatha Punaha Pravivesha Purim Shriman Puraskritya Dvijottaman. So Gateshu Prithivisheshu, Prithivesha means those kings while they were going. So Raja Dasharatha while they were also going, this Dasharatha also Punaha Pravivesha, Punaha Purim Pravivesha. So again he came back to Ayodhya city. So here you can take, so there that time he was beginning to go, that means he has decided now everything is over, let us go back. So he respected those kings and their soldiers and sent them. Now he actually is going back to his Ayodhya. Or you can take that he went back to Ayodhya earlier, but while these kings were going, so he saw them off till the boundaries of Ayodhya, he saw them off, and then now again he is going back to Ayodhya, Punaha Pravivesha. Tilakakara says at that time he just decided to go towards Ayodhya, and now actually he is going back to Ayodhya. The Shriman Maharaja Dvijottaman Puraskritya. So he also, all the assembled other Brahmanas and Rishis, them also he honored them, and after that he went back to his city. So now the Risheshringa Rishi is left over. So now he is also leaving. Shantaya Prayeu Sardham Risheshringa Supujitaha Anugamyamano Ragnya Sanuyatrena Dhimata. So this Risheshringaha, so Sardham Prayeu, so he also left the place. But how did he leave? Shantaya. So Shantaya means along with his wife Shanta, he left. Supujitaha, having been well worshipped by Dasharatha, he left. And then Sanuyatrena. So Sanuyatrena means along with his, so he came with his retinue, perhaps his Sishyas and those people. So along with them, he went back. And now Dhimata Ragnya Anugamyamanaha. So he was also followed by this Dhiman, Buddhiman Raja. So who is this Buddhiman Raja? So Tilakakara says this Dasharatha also followed him up to the precincts of Ayodhya, and then from their boundaries of Ayodhya, and from there Raja Dasharatha came back. So Ragnya Anugamyamanaha, followed by this Raja Dasharatha, Dhiman Dasharatha Raja having followed. So then this Risheshringa went. So having followed up to a particular distance, and then he left. Or other Tikakaras are telling here Ragnya Dhimata Ragnya Anugamyamanaha means Romapada king, So Romapada is the father-in-law of Risheshringa. So he also came along with Risheshringa Shanta. Romapada also came. So this Romapada is also following Risheshringa, and they are going back to their Desha. Now, so this is an important feature you will see in the entire story of Ramayana. Many important characters will keep coming and then exiting. Once they have exited, there is no question of them returning back again. Like Risheshringa, he has done very important role. Without him, Rama would not have been born, because it is because of his tapashakti that the yajna, the great obstacles that Dasharatha had, those were removed by his mere presence, by his mere tapashakti. Dasharatha's wish was fulfilled. So such a great Risheshringa, he didn't say, okay, now because of me Rama was born, let me now stay in Ayodhya also. It's Chakravarti's place, so I will get more respect here, so let me stay here. He didn't say. So he just did his job. So Kartavya Karma, he did his job and then he left. Like this, all characters in Ramayana, each character you will see is a turning point. If that character did not enter, Rama's story would have stopped then and there. Again, so there is no going forth. So Rama is now so let's say he's clueless what to do. Such kind of people at that time they come and then they leave again. Like Shabari comes, like Vishwamitra comes in Balakanda here only, and then even in Aranyakanda you will see many characters come, and then in Aranyakanda also you will see characters like that. So even Vanaras are going in search for Sita Devi, they have reached the shores of southern direction, which is the limit that they could go to. They went. Now they don't know what to do. At that time, Sampati will come. So at every stage you will see some or the other help is always given to Rama. So from one person to another person, help is given. From one place to another place. Place means not spatially place, but in the story. So from one event to another event, a small push is given to the story. But those characters don't come back again. Like Risheshringa, now he's exiting, he never comes back again. Vishwamitra exits at the end of Balakanda, he doesn't come back again. So it's like that. That is let's say that's how people. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That if you are following dharma, so help comes always, and that help comes in the form of Ishvara only. So you get that small push in life, and then that is Ishvara playing his role. So that is one very stark feature of. So some characters keep coming because they are associated with Rama's daily life, like Vasishtha, Sumantra, even what is his name? So that Rama's friend. So he also keeps. you know that the tribal man, I forgot his Nishadadhipati. So he comes back again. Comes back means again 2-3 times. So Guha, yeah. So he comes back 2-3 times in the story. So he has a role to play after Rama leaves and Bharata comes in search of Rama to the forest. At that time he has a role to play. Then again when Rama is going back to Ayodhya, he has a role to play. But there are characters like that. They are also very important characters. But then there are many characters who once exited, they will not come back again. So that is all there. So this is that first instance where Risheshringa enters the story and exits the story, but then never comes back. But he has a great role to play in Rama's life. So now that Risheshringa also has left. एवं विसृज्यतान् सर्वान् राजा सम्पूर्णमानसः उवास सुखितस्तत्र पुत्रोत्पत्तिं विचिन्तयन्. So एवं विसृज्यतान् सर्वान्, so whoever was left over now, so all people who came from other places have been honored and then they have been sent off. But then people from Ayodhya are left over, Vasishta, Vamadeva and all of them who are Ayodhya residents only, but they don't stay in the city, they stay in the forest or whatever in their ashrama. So those people also Dasharatha saw them off. So evam Visrijya Tan Sarvan. Tan Sarvan means all of them. All of them means all of them who are left over. Those people, Visrijya, having left. Visrijya means, literally it means having abandoned them or left them. But here it means that having seen them off. So Visrijya Sampurna Manasaha. So now his heart is full because he's accomplished what he wanted to do. That Sampurna Manasaha. Uvasa Sukhitas Tatra. Tatra means in that Ayodhya Puri. Uvasa Sukhitaha. Uvasa, he happily stayed. And then happily stayed. What was he doing? Putrotpattim Vichintayan. He was thinking about so when will children be? See, his wives are already pregnant, so he was expecting when will these children be born. So in that anticipation, he's happily living because he knows that it's only a matter of time that children will be born. And now that matter of time, that time comes. So I told you earlier, so 9 nimitta karanas for everything. Nayayika's thing, I told you everything. For everything, 9 nimitta karanas are there. The last of which Valmiki is discussing here is that kala. So that time. So time is most important. I told this even back then. For everything, there is the appropriate time. Till that time, you have to wait. Otherwise, even Bhagwan acts in that appropriate time only. So Kabir has a doha. So धीरे धीरे रे मना धीरे सब कुछ होय माली सिंचे सौ गड़ा ऋतु आए फल होय. So if there is a gardener, so he's telling, Kabir is telling, धीरे धीरे सब कुछ होय. Everything happens according to its own time. Just because a gardener is very anxious, he sows a seed and puts 100 pots of water, nothing happens. Only when the season comes, ritu aaye phal hoy. Only when the season comes, the fruit will come. So now the time has come. So Valmiki is very nicely discussing that what should I say, that time of Rama's birth. And there's a very beautiful rendition of these shlokas by M.S. Subbalakshmi. So in a radio recital, she sang these 4-5 shlokas from here, starting from Tato Yajne Samaptetu. I will try to share them with you. If you are interested, you can listen. Very nice rendition. She gave rendition of 2 portions like that from Valmiki Ramayana. One is this portion and another portion from Sundara Kanda, where Sita Devi will what should I say, will list out all her inspirations in life. Whom did she take inspiration from? So all those great Pativratas names, she gives a huge list of Pativratas that she has been told about stories and inspired her. So she says, I also live my life according to their life. So I also am a Pativrata like them, like I also. So I'm so Anuvrata, Rama Manuvrata, she says. So I always so in that love of Rama, I always keep my heart is always with him. That's what she keeps telling there. She tells there to Hanuman. So that and this. Anyway, so let's see these very important shlokas. So Valmiki is giving the astronomical details of Rama's birth. Tato yagne samapte tu ऋतूनां षट्समत्ययुः ततश्च द्वादशे मासे चैत्रे नावमिके तिथौ नक्षत्रे दिति दैवत्ये स्वोच्च संस्थेषु पञ्चसु ग्रहेषु कर्कटे लग्ने वाक्पताविन्दुना सह प्रोद्यमाने जगन्नाथं सर्वलोकनमस्कृतं कौसल्या जनयद्रामं दिव्यलक्षणसंयुतं विष्णोरर्धं महाभागं पुत्रमैक्ष्वाकुनन्दनं लोहिताक्षं महाबाहुं रक्तोष्ठं दुन्दुभिस्वनं. So tato yajne samapte tu ऋतूनां षट् समात्ययुः. So thereafter 6 so all the 6 rutus have completed since the time of the yajna's completion. That means 12 months have now passed since the time of the yajna's completion. So yajne samapte, the yajna being completed, Rutunam Shat Samatyayuhu. 6 Rutus have passed. So each Rutu stays for 2 months. So 12 months have passed. That is what he is telling. Tatascha Dwadashe Mase Chaitre Navamike Tithau. So 12th month from there. So you can expect the Yajna was over, and in 1 month all the sending off, all those was over. So 12 months. So 12 months from there means again, so Chaitra Masa has come. So if you remember that Vasanta Rutu, Chaitra Masa is when all this Yajna was happening, the Ashwas, the leaving the Yajna Ashwa, all those was happening. So again 12 months have passed, and then now Chaitra Masa has come. Tatascha Dwadashe Mase Chaitre Mase, Chaitra Masa has come. Navamike Tithau, Navami Tithi has come. So Nakshatre Aditi Daivatye, Aditi Daivatye means Aditi is the Devata for which nakshatra. So there is Nakshatra Sutram in Taitriya Brahmanam or Aranyakam, I think Brahmanam. So there each nakshatra is mentioned, and then nakshatras, devatas are mentioned. So and then otherwise also in astrology it is famous what is each nakshatra's devata. So for Punarvasu nakshatra, Aditi is the devata. So Rama is supposed to be born in Punarvasu nakshatra. Nakshatre Aditi Daivatya. Aditi Daivatya means Aditi is the devata for which nakshatra, in that nakshatra. That means Punarvasu nakshatra. So Punarvasau Svocha Samsteshu Panchasu Graheshu. So 5 grahas. So we have Navagrahas. Of that you should remove Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are Chaya grahas. They are not exactly grahas. So even in astrology, if you see, they will say Rahu and Ketu are just 2 points in the zodiac. So I will tell you a little detail. So my small pandityam of astrology I will put in front of you in a short time, but let me just give you that literal meaning of those things. So graheshu panchasu svocha samstheshu. So 5 grahas out of those 9 you take out Rahu and Ketu, and out of the remaining 7, 5 grahas were in their Uchchasthana. Even Rahu and Ketu were in their Uchchasthana, but that is not what he is talking about here. So 5 grahas were in their Uchchasthana. What are those 5 grahas? That also he will tell you. So he is not telling here, but we will see. So Karkate Lagne, in Karkataka Lagna, Karkataka is Cancer. So in Cancer Lagna, what is Lagna? I will tell you. Vakpata Vinduna Saha. So Prodhyamane. So that Lagna, is the ascendant. So Vakpata, let me discuss that now. So in astrology we have something called the zodiac. You must have known these things. There is something called the natural zodiac. If you draw from wherever you are, you draw 360 degrees around you. So you have this natural zodiac, and then whatever at a given time, at this time, suppose whatever is in the eastern direction, so if you so the space around you can divide into the 360 degrees, you divide into 12. Each of them forms one house, what is called as house bhava, it is called in astrology. So in that each house, so if you can map, you will see that in that space, in some portions all planets are there. For example, there is a very nice app called Sky Map. So if you download and use Sky Map, you can trace out which planet is where, which nakshatra is where. Consider a very nice app that is. So you have to turn on GPS, of course, and then it will show you. So then you can make out. So like that, if you divide the zodiac into 12, so that's called the natural zodiac. And that zodiac, so at this point now, for example, it's 6:54 p.m. What is the Rashi that is on the Rashi is a constellation of stars. So what is the Rashi on the eastern direction? That becomes your Lagna. So Lagna is the first house. So first house in your zodiac. The natural zodiac starts from Aries, and then Lagna is the first house in your own chart. So that is Lagna, and then he is telling Vakpata Induna Saha. So Prodhyamane. So this Karkate Lagne, so this Lagna, the eastern constellation at the time of Rama's birth in Ayodhya was Karkataka Lagna, and then Vakpata Vinduna Saha. So Lagna is Prodhyamana, means it is rising. So whatever is on the eastern direction, it's supposed to be rising, because the Rashi Chakra also moves. So what is rising is Lagna is always the rising. So that's called right. That's why it's called Lagna. So the ascendant, it's called in English. So it is rising. That means Rashi Chakra is turning. If something is here now, so if it's rising, means it is turning. So then after some time, the next Rashi will come to the Lagna. After some time, the next Rashi will come to the Lagna. It's like that. So these are all. So these are the scientific aspects of astrology. So these are all astronomical aspects of astrology. What is the predictive part of astrology is that we cannot say. You either take it on faith, saying all these are Shastras, so Maharshis have said, so it's true. The predictive part of astrology is a different thing, but the astronomical part of astrology, Indians have been more or less precise. So almost very precise calculations they have given. So all these things are there, but this lagna, all those things are scientific, but whether a person born in this lagna will have these qualities, that is a matter of faith. Or if you have to be very rational, you have to say that is blind belief. That I leave to your choice, whatever you want to take. Now, what is this graheshu panchasu swacha samstheshu? So 5 grahas are in their ucha. So what are the 5 grahas? So now you see each graha will have one swasthana and then something called uchasthana also. Swasthana is the Lord. So except for sun and moon, all other planets will have two swasthanas. Okay, and then each of them will have an uchasthana and nichasthana. That means if that planet is in that rashi, so that is the point of exaltation. It's called uchasthana, and some sthanas are nichasthana, debilitation. So if the planet is in the uchasthana, it is good for it. If it is in the nichasthana, it is bad for it. So 5 planets are in uchasthana while Rama was born. It's kind of a rare kind of combination. So that is what. So if you can see what that chart that I shared, that will be of use to you. So if you see what is written as AR, sun, sun is written, and AR, that is Aries. I hope you all are seeing it. So Aries is from there begins the natural zodiac. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. This is the natural zodiac. But what you can see as ASC, ascendant, moon, Jupiter is written, that is ascendant, that is the Lagna Sthana. So on top of it, you can see CN is written, Cancer. So Cancer is the ascendant of the Lagna of Rama. So now you have to fit in what are these 5 stuff. So very beautifully Valmiki is showing how these planets are. Just by this one statement, he is showing this entire chart. That is the beauty of Valmiki's. That's the beauty of astrology. It's astronomy itself, but then he's nicely showing it in one statement. He's putting his entire chart. So and then Govind Raja is nicely tracing it. How can you trace this chart? He's telling you. So already he has said that moon is in Lagna, and then Karkataka Lagna he's telling. So moon is in Cancer. You can see that. And then now what are the other planets left? So moon, Cancer is not the Uchasthana of moon. So you should remove that. What is the Uchasthana of moon? Rishabha is the Uchasthana of moon. That is Taurus is the Uchasthana of moon. So moon you take out. Now again Mars, Buddha. Buddha means, sorry, not Mars, Mercury. Mercury is Buddha. Mercury is always close to Sun. So in anybody's chart, if you see, Mercury and Sun will be almost close to each other. So Mercury is close to Sun means it has to be mostly in Aries itself or in Taurus somewhere. But then that also is not the Uchasthana for Buddha. The Uchasthana for Buddha is Kanya Rashi. So even Buddha cannot be naturally eliminated. That Buddha cannot be in its Uchasthana. Moon he is telling is in Cancer. Cancer is not the Uchasthana. So two grahas are eliminated. Only 5 grahas are left now. What are they? Sun, then Jupiter, then Saturn, then Venus, and what did I leave? So one more. Saturn, Guru, Shukra, Mars. So Sun, Mars, Shani, Guru and Shukra. So Tikakaras are writing these. I'm not going to much details of these things. Some interesting things I will tell you and leave. So Sun, see, Uchasthana of Sun is Mesha Rasi. He is in Aries. And then the Uchasthana of Guru, Jupiter is Cancer and he is in Cancer. Saturn's Uchasthana is Libra. He is in Libra. And then Mars Uchasthana is Capricorn. He is in Capricorn. Venus Uchasthana is Pisces, he's in Pisces. So that's how we trace this entire Rashi Chakra. So like I told you earlier, so like students of Sanskrit study Ramodantam as the first text of any text that they are studying, and then Rama Shabda is the first Shabda that is studied. Likewise, even students of astrology study Rama's chart as the basic chart. So in fact, you are supposed to by heart this chart, so that this is the chart of reference for you. So I hope this thing is clear. So what he is telling, this pancha rashis or pancha grahas are in their Uchasthana. That is, Sun is in Mesha Rasi, and then Mars is in Makara Rasi, and then Shani is in Tula Rashi, and then Guru is in Karkataka Rashi, and Shukra is in Meena Rashi. So these are their Uchasthanas. So just out of some interest to you, I will tell you, if you are interested in these things, so some kind of basic predictions for these things. So you can see it tallies with Rama's life. So this is This is something that is standard. Everybody is taught these things when you're studying astrology. One very important thing that you can see. So one very important thing you can see in Rama's chart is he has something called Gajakeshari Yoga. Gajakeshari Yoga means Moon and Jupiter come together, and they are in Cancer, which is Moon's own Rashi is Cancer, and Jupiter is also its Uchasthana is Cancer, but Moon and Jupiter coming together is called Gajakeshari Yoga. Gajakeshari Yoga is supposed to be Gajakesari Yoga. Gajakesari Yoga is supposed to be very, very auspicious. It gives you very good results. You become very famous, very rich. You become king and things like that. Chakravarti Yoga, it's called. So people become like that. So in my life, I have seen one person with Gajakesari Yoga. I told him you will become somebody very famous in life. Anyway, so Gajakesari Yoga is there, and then you see some. It's not that everything is nice, goody and things like that. There are some problems also. So what is the problem? One thing that you can see. So these are all Tikakaras are telling. Okay, Govindaraja is going into very great detail of all these things mean. I am just giving you some basic things that you can relate to. So if you see Jupiter is being aspected by two planets here. So what are those two planets? So every planet has a natural aspecting of, so Drishti it is called. So every planet has Drishti of 7 houses from its Sthana. So if you see Jupiter is being aspected by Saturn, and then just a second. So Saturn and Mars, yeah. So Saturn, so every planet looks at 7th house from its wherever it is. So Mars is in Capricorn. So if you count 7 from it, so that will lead you to Cancer. So Jupiter is being seen by Mars, and also every planet has extra drishtis apart from the 7 drishtis. Apart from the 7th house drishti, every planet has extra drishti of particular planets have particular drishti. Saturn has drishti of 3rd and 10th house. So Saturn is also looking at Jupiter, and Mars is also looking at Jupiter. So Jupiter is being aspected by Mars and Saturn. That shows that there is some Brahma Hatya, Brahma Shapa, Brahmana Shapa dosha is there. So some Brahmana has cursed this person. They say like that. So some story of Rama, they say Narada has cursed, some other Muni has cursed, therefore he had to separate from his wife and things like that. So that you can see. Another thing is, so problem means separation from wife and such things. You can see that 8th house is called so what is in the 8th house? So Cancer being the first house, so from Cancer if you count, Capricorn will become the 8th house. 8th house is called the Kalatra Sthana. So in Kalatra Sthana there is Mars. So Mars is a very fiery planet. It's not good for it. And then Mars being in Kalatra Sthana has some problems there. So separation from wives and such things. I'm not going to bore you with this. I will stop. There are many things that you can make up. And then Capricorn is the Swasthana of Saturn. And then Saturn, whichever is the Swasthana of Saturn, those aspects will be problematic in a person's life. So Mars is in Capricorn, which is Kalatra Sthana. 8th house is Kalatra Sthana, and Saturn is the Adhipati of that house. And to make things worse, Mars is also staying there, so he has separation from wife and things like that. And one more interesting thing, so this Rama had to be abandoned. I mean, he had to leave his kingdom for his brother for some time. So that you can see that there is Mercury, who is the lord of 3rd house and 12th house. So 3rd house is Sodarasthana and 12th house is Vyayasthana. So and then Mercury is the lord of those things. So that shows that he has to abandon his kingdom for his brother. So those things, some interesting things. So Mercury is the lord of those things. Therefore, he has to cede his kingdom to his brother, and then therefore Labhasthanam and things like that. Anyway, I don't want to go there. These are some, I'm reading from some notes which I had. So some basic things of Rama's chart. So all this aside, what is Valmiki's intention? All these predictive sides aside, what is Valmiki's intention is to say, in fact, Tilakakara, you should appreciate him that he mentions only the chart. He does not go into the predictive parts of it, whereas the other Tikakara slightly they go into other parts of it. And then Govindaraja writes very extensively all these things. What do they mean? What does this person being in this planet mean? And how it's true in Rama's life? All those things, details are given. All this aside, what we want to see here is that Sun and Jupiter and Saturn and Mars and Venus are in their Uchasthana. That is what he is saying here. So Panchasu Graheshu Swocha Samstheshu. So 5 grahas are in their own Ucha sthanas, and then Karkata Lagna is there, and Moon and Jupiter together are there in Karkata, which is also the Karkataka, which is also the Lagna. So Moon, Jupiter together in the ascendant being Karkataka Lagna. So with just by this he has given this entire chart. So now that is over Prodhyamane. So when that is ascending. So now when this is the time, so Valmiki has described the time. While this being the time, Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam Kausalya Janayat. Kausalya Janayat means Kausalya gave birth to this Ramam Divya Lakshana Samyutam. So this Rama she gave birth to. So if you read the chart, they say that all these lakshanas show that this person is going to be very famous in his life. He's going to be an emperor. He's going to have some major setbacks, but then after those setbacks are going to make him very famous and things like that. So Mercury, for example, in Mercury's dasha of 17 years, he will have lot of problems. So Mercury is not a very strong planet in Rama's chart, they say, but during the dasha of Mercury, he has lot of problems to undergo. That is when those 14 years of Vanavasa he has. But all those events only add to his fame. So all those things are there. That being said, but then so that Jagannatham, Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam, that very famous Rama is born. So Kausalya gave birth to such a Rama. So Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam shows, Tilakakara is telling that it seems when Rama was born, he appeared as Chaturbhuja Vishnu only. But then Kausalya, when she looked at that form, she got afraid, and then therefore to make his mother happy, what Vishnu did is by his own Maya Shakti, he became as though a small child. So this we see in Bhagavatam is explicitly there, that when Krishna was born to Devaki and Vasudeva, he first appears in Chaturbhuja form, and then Vasudeva does a stuti also. I think Devaki also does a stuti, and then he takes his own Maya. So Swamayam Ashritya, he takes a child's form. That is what Tikakara is telling here also, that Rama takes a child's form by accepting his own Maya. So Jagannatha means Lord of the entire earth, you can take literally, or he is also figuratively Vishnu, the Lord of entire universe. Sarvaloka Namaskritam, you can say he is well worshipped by people on this earth, or you can say he is well worshipped because he is Vishnu. He is well worshipped. He is worshipped by everybody in this universe. So Kausalya Ajanayat Ramam Divya Lakshana Sanyutam. So this Rama who's having Divya Lakshana. So Divya Lakshana, you can say it means that he is he has very beautiful features, body features according to Samudrika Shastra and things like that. Or you can say his lakshanas are such that when you see him, you will feel that he is not a human being, he is Vishnu only, or he is an Avatara Purusha only. Such kind of Rama Kausalya gave birth to. Vishnor Ardham Mahabhagam Putram Ikshvaku Nandanam. So Ikshvaku Nandanam means now he is the bearer of Ikshvaku lineage now. So he is causing happiness to this entire Ikshvaku lineage, because now he is going to continue the lineage of Ikshvakus, which was Dasharatha's original problem also. He thought, I don't have children, so who will continue this lineage? So now that is being accomplished. Mahabhagam means so that great person. So Mahabhaga also means, so literally, so there is something called Bhagya Suktam in Vedas, I think in Yajurveda only. So there, so Mahabhagam, so Bhagya is literally said as luck, so that's not literally what is meant there. Mahabhagam is very lucky person, so it's not like that. It's used in that sense also sometimes. So Mahabhaga is a great venerated person, that's the meaning. So Vishnor Artham does not mean literally he is half of Vishnu. It just means that he's an amsha of Vishnu, or he's an aspect of Vishnu. Tilakakara says Vishnor Artham means so he's just a little less than Vishnu. Why is he a little less than Vishnu? Because Vishnu is somebody who has Shankha, Chakra and Ananta Shayanam and all those things. So but then this person is not like that, because his Shankha and Ananta and those people are going to be born separately as brothers. So he is not so the Shankha is supposed to be Bharata, Ananta is supposed to be Lakshmana, and then Shatrughna is Sudarshana Chakra, I think, something like that they say. So Tilakakara also will tell later. So because those things are not there, they are separately there, therefore Vishnor Ardham. Ardham means Kinchin Nyunam, a little less than Vishnu. Why a little less than Vishnu? Because those other people are also there. But other Tikakaras say you should not say like that. He is a Purnavatara, he is there, he is Vishnu himself. So Vishnu Ardham means he's an embodiment of Vishnu, something like that you should say, and things like so. This controversy is always there. Is Rama Purna Avatara? Is he an Amsha Avatara? Some people say he was born as an Amsha, but then after winning over Parashurama, he became a Purna Avatara and things like that. So I don't know whether such a discussion is required. And then in Bhagavatam we have Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Ete Chamshah Kala Pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, after mentioning all the avatars. So we don't have a concept of Dashavataras in the Puranas. What we have is, I think, 24, 21 or 24, I think, avatars are mentioned in Bhagavata. And then those avatars include things like Vishnu as Vasudeva came down to protect Gajendra. Even that appearance to protect Gajendra is also an avatara. So and then Vyasa is an avatara, Naranarayana are avatara. So that's how it's mentioned in Bhagavatam. This Dashavatara is a more recent concept, but then recent means 2 300 400 500 years old, okay, than the Puranas themselves. So this Vishnu is also, in according to Bhagavatam, he is also put under Amshavataras only, and Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. But then of course in Hinduism there is a great, what should I say, internal democracy in Hinduism. Anybody can say anything, and then everybody has some Shastra backing. So of course you should have Shastra backing and say whatever you're saying. So people accept either ways. He is a Purna Avatar and things like that. We can just take Vishnu is Rama, Rama is Vishnu, Vishnu is all his avatars are Vishnu. Anyway, so Vishnu Artham Mahabhagam Putram Ikshvaku Nandanam Lohitaksham Mahabahum. So Lohitaksham means, so he has red eyes. So red eyes means literally not red eyes. What it means, he has eyes which are like red lotuses. So that's the meaning. Mahabahum, he has very beautiful extending arms. Raktoshtam, red lips, and then Dundubhiswanam. So his, when he cries, so Rama is just born. So you should not say his speech is like Dundubhi. Dundubhi is drumbeat. His crying is like drumbeat. You can say Dundubhiswanam. Swanam means sound. So Dundubhiswanam means the sound when he speaks or when he's crying in this context. This crying I am adding because he's born as a kid. So when he's crying, that sound is coming as though it is drumbeat. This Lohitaksham, what I have said as, so Padmanayanam, interestingly, just diverting from this context, so it seems Ramanujacharya was studying under his guru Yadava Prakasha or something his name is. So originally that Yadava Prakasha was an Advaitin, and then Ramanuja was studying under him, and then he explains one day about a mantra from Chandogya Upanishad or something. So Tadyatha Kapyasam Pundarikam. So Kapyasam Pundarikam. So Vishnu is like this, Bhagavan is like that. That's the intention being said there. So till then it seems all commentators have said Kapyasam Pundarikam means that Pundarika of so Kapyasam. I don't remember the mantra exactly. What the commentators till then were trying to say is that, so his eyes are like or maybe his face, whatever, his eyes are like the backs of monkeys which are very red, so such kind of reddied eyes he's having. So that's how this explanation was being made till then, all commentators. But then when Yadav Prakasha was explaining this to Ramanujacharya, he was doing some sushrusha to his guru when his guru was teaching these things. So his eyes were filled with tears. And then Yadav Prakasha sees and asks, what happened? So why are you crying? Then Ramanuja says, I didn't like this explanation. You should not explain like that. So Kapyasam, so his eyes are like that. So what Ramanujacharya says is, I have an also. Yadav Prakasha asked, do you have an alternative explanation? Then he says, Kapyasam means that which drinks water through their feet, something like that. So he gives an explanation to say that he is lotus-eyed. So this is a story. Whether it was true or false, I don't know. But all Vaishnavacharyas give this story. It's a nice story. So Kapyasam Pundarikam. So you can take that his eyes are like the red lotuses, and instead of saying that his eyes are red like the backs of monkeys or something like that. So this Lohitaksham, I thought I will tell that his eyes are red means his eyes are red like lotuses. That Tikakara is telling Lohitaksham means like Padmanayanam and things like that. So I'm just giving you some other interesting story from that. So Rama is born now, our hero of the entire epic. So from here onwards, in every story, in almost every sarga, there will be a discussion also. Rama is directly there, or he is being, so his story is being coming again. For example, in some events in Ayodhya Kanda, when Rama is in the forest, some events transpire in Ayodhya itself. Bharata comes back and things like that. Those few sargas, Rama is not there, but he is being talked about. And then entire Sundarakanda, only in the last sarga you will see that Rama is there. But entire Sundarakanda, Rama is not physically there in the story. But then Rama's name keeps coming again and again, again and again. Hanuman repeats Rama's story, all that transpired so far, sometimes very short, sometimes very long. So from here onwards, Rama will always be there till the end of Ramayana. When Rama's Patabhishekam happens, till there we will see that Rama is always mentioned. So far, Rama has not come in 17 sargas. He was just, I mean, the few sargas in the beginning he was hinted and things like that. But now onwards, Rama will be there with us always. Rama is always there with us. In the story also, he is going to be. Now, Kausalya Shushubhe tena putrenamita tejasa yatha varena devanam aditir vajrapanina. So Kausalya Shushubhe tena Shushubhe. So Kausalya has well delivered. So they say like that. So in Tamil also there are expressions like that. So if somebody is very naughty, they say, so you also somebody gave birth to. Some woman gave birth to people like you also. So but then Kausalya is Kausalya Shushubhe tena. So Kausalya also became, so she's also happy and she's shining and things like that by that Rama's birth. Putrena Amita Tejasa, by that son's birth. So Amita Tejasa. So by that great that Rama, that child who's having Amita Tejas. Amita means that which cannot be measured. So Amita Tejasa, by that great Amitabha. They say Amitabha Buddha is there in Buddhism. One form of Buddha is called Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha means he who has great so immeasurable luster around him, great shine around him, such kind of Buddha. So such kind of Rama also. Putrena Amita Tejasa yatha varena devanam aditir vajrapanina. So like Aditi who has given birth to Indra, like that this Kaushalya is also so shining and she's very happy and things. Shushubhe, I'm trying to find the meaning for Shushubhe. Putrena Kausalya Ashushubhe Aprameya Shobham Prapaya. She's shining. So Shushubhe means she's shining by because of giving birth to the sun. She's shining like even Aditi shined or shone by giving birth to whom? Varena, Devanam Varena. So like the best amongst Devas, who's Indra. If you have any doubt who's the best amongst Devatas, so Valmiki is adding another adjective, Vajrapanina, he who has Vajra in his hand. Who has Vajrayudha? Indra has Vajrayudha. Like Aditi gave birth to Indra, so like that Kaushalya also, and she was shining because of that. Shining means, so they say because of the child's birth she's happy and things like that. So and then she's going to gain fame also. See, Rama was born then, and that one event even now we are talking about. We will see when Vasishtha gives names to these children. So at that time, I don't know in what Muhurtam Vasishtha gave this name called Rama to that person who's born as Kausalya Nandana. But since that time onwards, in fact, even before that, Rama's name has been, what should I say, has been saving people even before Rama was born. But that name, since that time till today and forever, Rama's story will remain. Rama's name is being saving people, millions of people again and again. So that Kausalya Shushubhe. Now Bharato nama Kaikeyam Jagne Satya Parakramaha Sakshad Vishnur Chaturbhagaha Sarvai Samudito Gunaihi. So Kaikeyi also gave birth. Bharato nama Kaikeyam Jagne Satya Parakramaha. So to this Kaikeyam Jagne, to this Kaikeyi was born this Bharato nama Satya Parakramaha. So Bharata, his name is, so they are not yet named, but how will Valmiki refer to them? He is going to he's referring to them based on the names that are going to be given later. So but we know the story, so we know Bharata is Kaikeyi Putra. So Kaikeyi gave birth to this Bharata, who is, and then a possible question is, so we know, okay, but what about people who are reading Ramayana for the first time? How will, so if you say Bharata, how will they know who's that person? So for as answer to that is already in Bala Ramayana all these names are mentioned, So Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. So he's just doing a paramarsha of what is already mentioned. So Bharato nama Kaikeyam Jagne Satya Parakramaha. Satya Parakramaha is, so his Parakrama is so something that cannot be, he cannot be defeated, and his Parakrama is so great. That's the meaning, that he's, so Satya Parakramaha Sakshad Vishnosh Chaturbhagaha Sarvais Samudito Gunaihi Jagne. So along with all those very good Sarvaihi Gunaihi Samuditaha. So Samuditaha means, so he was born along with all these very beautiful gunas, very important, nice gunas. He was born. So Sakshat Vishnosh Chaturbhagaha. What does Sakshat Vishnosh Chaturbhagaha means? He is an Amsha of Vishnu. So Panchajanya, he's a Shankha. Or you can say, some other Tikakaras are telling Sakshat Vishnosh Chaturbhagaha. Sakshat Vishnu is Rama. So Vishnu is there in Vaikuntha. Who is the Sakshat Vishnu? The Vishnu in front of us, he is Rama. And he is Vishnu, that Sakshat Vishnu Chaturbhaga. He is 1/4 of that Sakshat Vishnu. or you can say, so Vishnu, so Rama is Vishnu's half, you know, but Yajna Payasa half was given to Kaushalya. So Vishnu's half is Rama, and that half of that is Bharata. So Sakshat Vishnu Chaturbhagaha means 1/4 of original Vishnu. Anyway, all these terms you should generally say that, so Rama was more or less Vishnu except for a little, which was, so these four brothers together form Vishnu. That's the idea. So साक्षात् विष्णु चतुर्भागः सर्वैः समुदितो गुणैः अथ लक्ष्मण शत्रुघ्नौ सुमित्रा जनयत् सुतौ वीरौ okay, so वीरौ सर्वास्त्र कुशलौ विष्णोरर्ध समन्वितौ अथ लक्ष्मण शत्रुघ्नौ. So Lakshmana and Shatrughna, Dvivachana is used, which means that they are twins. So Lakshmana Shatrughna Sumitra Janayat Sutau. So Sumitra gave birth to these two sons. So Lakshmana and Shatrughna, Veerau, both are great. Veera, Sarvastra Kushalau, both are experts in all great what should I say, astras. And then Vishnu Ardha Samanvita, again they are also, so some amsha of Vishnu is there. So all these four brothers together are Vishnu's amsha. So Rama is Vishnu himself, and these brothers are also Vishnu's amshas only. Now he is giving in just one line, very briefly, he says the details of these brothers' astrological things. Pushye jatastu bharataha meena lagne prasannathihi sarpe jatau tu saumitri kulire bhyudite rabau. So Pushye jatastu bharataha. Bharata was born in Pushya nakshatra in Meena lagna. Prasannathihi means, so his mind is always prasanna chittaha. That's the meaning. That kind of Bharata was born in Pushya nakshatra in Meena lagna. And then Sarpe jatau tu Saumitri. So Sarpe 14th. So just a second. Sorry, 15th. Saumitri. So Karkataha. Sarpa means Ashlesha nakshatra. This Sarpa is the Adhishtana Devata, Ishta Devata for which. So that is Ashlesha nakshatra. Sarpa means Ashlesha. Kuliraha is Karkata. So in Karkata Lagna, in Kulire Abhyudite Ravau. So Abhyudite Ravau is, that also he gives some explanation here. Abhyuta ityartha Uchchastha ityartha. So Ravi, so sun is in Uchchasthana for these people, and they are born in Kulira, which is Karkataka Lagna, and they are born in Ashlesha nakshatra. So Pushya for Bharata, Ashlesha for Lakshmana, and Punarvasu for Rama. So this is what Valmiki's direct, what should I say, direct statements are, that these people are born in these nakshatras. So people have widely accepted all these things. Recently, some people are questioning whether Rama can be born in Punarvasu nakshatra because these details don't tally, and then some other events in Ramayana are there, so maybe they don't tally and things like that. I am not an expert, at least maybe you people can read and find out what holds more weight. So these things are there, but traditionally Rama is accepted to be born in Chaitra Masa, and in Punarvasu nakshatra in Navami Titho. So now Chaitra Shuddha Navami, I think it's called. So in that he is born. So the Shuddha Navami, so I'm trying to locate that. So Chaitra Shuddha Navami only says. So Shuddha Navami means that Navami which is going towards in that Shukla Paksha. Navami is called. So Chaitra Shukla Navami, Shuddha Navami they say. So Rama is born in, so this is a thought that just came to my mind. I have to check and then confirm. But from what I know, Chaitra Shuddha Navami, somebody can Google and see maybe. Chaitra Shuddha Navami. Shuddha Navami means that Navami which is in the Shukla Paksha. So Chaitra Shukla Navami also they say. So Rama is ninth, you know, when you divide the entire tithis from Prathama to Amavasya or Prathama to Paurnami, you will have 15, you know, 15 tithis are there. So what is the half of 15? Half of 15 means, so Sama in between will come as 8. So 7 plus 7, 14, and then 8 is in the between. So Krishna was born in Ashtami. So if you take Amavasya as Nirguna and Paurnami as Saguna, Krishna is born on 8th. So he is the perfect balance of Saguna and Nirguna. Rama is born on 9th, so 9th of Shukla Paksha, so a little closer to of Saguna Brahman. So some crazy thought, I should say, I just randomly came, now I'm telling you. So little Sagunatvam is there in Rama, so that's the idea. So both are Parabrahma only, but a little more Saguna Amsha is there in Rama. In Krishna, both are well balanced because he's born on Ashtami Tithi. Ashtami is in between, he's neither towards that or towards this, is in between. Anyway, and then they say Rama was born on that Navami's afternoon, the next morning while sun is rising. So some people give Abhyudite Ravau as that's the meaning. When the sun is rising the next morning, Bharata was born, and somewhere in the afternoon or something of that day, So about 24 hours gap between Rama's birth and Lakshmana Shatrugna's birth, 24 hours gap. So all these, there are various viewpoints to this. I am just giving you some traditionally accepted points. Lakshmana and Shatrugna were born on the next day's afternoon. Now all the four brothers are born. No Ragnyah putra Mahatmanas Chatvaro Jagnire Pruthak Gunavanto Nurupascha Ruchya Proshtapadopamaha. So Ragnyah putraha, so this is Raja's putras, Mahatmanaha, great Mahatmas. So how many? Chatvaraha Jagnire Pruthak, four people were separately born. So they were nicely born, four people. And Gunavantaha means they have these Prakrishta gunas are there. And then Anurupascha, Anurupa means, so this Jeshta and Kanishta is there, elder brother, younger brother. So Anurupa means, so they are also, their behavior is also like that. Towards the elder brother, the younger brothers are respectful and things like that. That's the Anurupaha. Anurupascha Ruchya Proshtapadopamaha. So Ruchya, give me a second. So Anurupaha Ruchya Kantya. So Ruchya Proshtapadopamaha. This Proshtapada means to go pada. That's the meaning. So this Proshtapada is a name given. It's a technical name which is given for two nakshatras, Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra. So they are like twin stars. Okay, Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra, Purva Shadha, Uttara Shadha, things like that. Then so this Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra together are called Proshtapada. So Proshtapadaha. So these Proshtapada, Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra, you can see in valmikiramana.net, their English constellation name is given. It seems these, and if you actually check for that constellation on Google, you will find a nice picture. This Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra, each nakshatra has a twin star. So each of them is two stars. Purva Bhadra is 2 stars and Uttara Bhadra is another, it has its own twin star. So together they become 4. That's the meaning. So what Valmiki is trying to say, it's a beautiful simile for people who know astrology, not for all of us. We know nothing. At least I don't know nothing. But this Proshtapadopama has a beautiful adjective, whatever simile, if people know such things. So Proshtapadaha means Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra and their twin. So like Rama and what the Dhvani is, Rama has one brother Lakshmana who's very close to him. Bharata has one brother Shatrugna who's very close to him. And Rama and Bharata are like Purva Bhadra, Uttara Bhadra, and their twin what should I say, twin stars. So their brothers form that very nice Proshtapada constellation. That's the meaning. So let us do 3 more shlokas and then we will end for today. Jaguh kalancha gandharva nanrutuschapsaroganaah devadundubhayo neduhu pushpavrishtishcha khatpatat utsavascha mahanasid ayodhyayam janakulaha तथ्याश्च जनसंबाधा नटनर्तकसंकुलाः गायनैश्च विराविण्यो वादनैश्च तथा परैः विपुलास्तत्र सर्वरत्नसमन्विताः. So Jaguh Kalancha Gandharva. So now what Valmiki is telling is these people Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna are born. So there is great Utsava in sky also, in Swargaloka also there is Utsava, and in Ayodhya also there is Utsava. So first he is describing the Utsava in Swargaloka. Jaguh Kalancha Gandharvaha. So Gandharva are displaying their art, which is singing. So Jaguhu Kalam Jaguhu Gandharvaha is they are singing. Nanrutushcha Apsaro Ganaha. Apsaras are displaying their talent. What is their talent? They are dancing. Nanrutuhu. Then Devadundubhayo Neduhu, Devadundubhi. So Devadundubhi is, they say there are drums in the sky. So when some auspicious event happens, those drums beat by themselves. So Devadundubhis, they are Neduhu. Neduhu means they are sounding. Those Devadundubhis are sounding on themselves. Pushpavrishtischa Khatpatat. So Pushpavrishti. So rains of flowers, rain of flowers is falling from the sky. So Khat means from the sky. Kham means sky. So Khat Patat, this Pushpavrishti is falling from the sky. So Devadundubhayo Neduhu and Pushpavrishtischa Khat Patat, Tikakara is telling that even inert things are very happy that these people are born. Now in Ayodhya, Utsavascha Mahanasid Ayodhyayam Janakulaha. So in that, so Ayodhya is filled with people, Janakulaha. So many people have gathered in Ayodhya, and then great Utsava, Utsavascha Mahanasid, great Utsava is happening in Ayodhya. So Ayodhyayam, in Ayodhya great Utsava is happening. Rathyaschcha Janasambadha Natanartaka Sankulaha. So these Nata and Nartaka, so these dancers and other performers, entertainers, they are all gathering at places and they are performing, and then people are seeing them. Rathyaha are people on the roads who are seeing them. Rathyaschcha Janasambadha. So they are filled with so many people. The streets are filled with so many people. that Janasambadha means they are rubbing shoulder to shoulder, so they are very close, so very tightly packed. So many people have come up to see. Like great Jagannath Rath Yatra happens means the entire road, is filled like that. So something like that. So Gayanaischa Viravinnye Vadanaischa Tatha Paraihi Virejur Rathyascha. So this first half has to go with previous shloka. So not just these Natanartakas but also Gayanaihi singers. Viravinyo Vadanaischa Gayanaischa Vadanaischa, by these singers, musical instruments, Vadanaihi, and then Viravinyaha. So these by these so Rava means sound. So Viravinyaha means this great sound is being caused there. Virejur Vipulastatra Sarvaratna Samanvitaha. So I think Rathyascha. Give me a second. Rathya, yeah. Rathya. Okay, Rathya Margaha. Yeah, Rathya can also mean people who have assembled those at those places, and then Rathyaha. So that is one meaning that Tikakara is giving. Another Tikakara is telling Rathyascha means those Margas also. So that Margaha Vipulaha. So Vipulaha Margaha Rathyaha Videjuhu Tatra Sarvaratna Samanvitaha. Those streets are shining. Videjuhu. Why are they shining like that? Because Sarvaratna Samanvitaha. They're all great Ratnas are being showered there. It seems that to reward these Natanartakas, Gayakas, and all of them. So all these Ratnas are showered as a praise for them, so that they can lift up and take. So we will stop here. Just do one more shloka 20 and then end. Pradeyanshta dadau raja suta magadhavandinam brahmanebhyo dadau vittam godhanani sahasrashah. So Pradeyanshta tadau Raja. So great danams, that whatever danam has to be done, this Raja is doing. Pradeya means that which has to be given. So Pradeyanshta tadau, that which has to be given, this Raja is giving them. Raja Suta Magadha Vandinam. Whom is he giving to? He's giving to Suta. Sutas are Pauranikas. And then Magadhas are people who praise the Vamshavali of the king. And then Bandis are people who praise this king itself. So they do the stuti of the king. To all of them, all the gifts that has to be given are being given. You can see in olden days movies. Or in any Ramayana movie, you can see that somebody comes announcing to Dasharatha, son is delivered to Kaushalya. So he's very happy. Immediately he gives something that is there. Another person comes and tells Kaikeyi delivered her son. Then whatever he has, he will give. Then somebody will come and tell Sumitra delivered one baby. So whatever is there, he will give. Then immediately one more person will say, not one, two. Sumitra delivered two babies. So whatever is left, he will give. Something like that. So whatever has to be given, those things he is giving to these people. Brahmanebhyo dadau vittam godhanani sahasrashaha. So this to Brahmanas in thousands of measures. So sahasrashaha Brahmanebhyo dadau, he gave. What did he give? Vittam, money. And then godhanani, to go also. Cows also he gave. Thousands of cows he gave as danam to these Brahmanas who are there in the court, and he's supposed to do these things. So we will end for here, and in next Thursday we will finish this. So just adding one point, that in Vasudeva and Bhagavatam they say that he was in a jail when Krishna was born, so he could not do any of these danams. It seems mentally he does danam. So mentally he does, I'm gifting so many cows to these Brahmanas and things like that. Mentally he does danam. So Dasharatha is physically doing here, but then Vasudeva was in a jail, he does those things. So Manasika karma also gives that great result, but Manasika karma should not be an excuse to actually give. You should not be a miser and say Manasika karma is enough, so mentally I'm giving those things. You should not do like that. What you should, so when you are physically not capacitated to do, then, or because of financial conditions you are not capacitated to do such a thing that is required actually to be done by you, then Manasika karma also will do. It gives equal result. When you should not do vanchana. This is called Atma vanchana, Shakti vanchana it's called. So you should not cheat yourself when you are doing dana. So as much you can, you should. So that's the meaning. Anyway, we will end. We'll stop here. In next session we will continue and finish this sarga. Om yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam tatra tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Bashpavari Paripurnalocanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramarpanamastu.